Hello, my name's Jack, and I would like to help you get started on ThinkorSwim, also known as TOS, T-O-S. And the first thing you're going to encounter is this little pop-up window for logging in. Now you can take the option of paper money, which is great when you're starting out, and even after it's great. Or select the left side for live trading. This setting here is pretty important. Select your language, color scheme, and font size. But the part that's really good is memory usage, because by default they set it to the very lowest, which is 32 and something else as a max. And the system will really slow down when you're only using that much RAM. So if your system can handle it, bump those up and you'll get a lot better performance. Now I'm already open in paper money here, but you can open multiple instances of ThinkorSwim. So if you have like several monitors, you might have live trading on one and paper trading on another, but I'm not going to be doing that today. So I'm going to close this. And so I have reset this to default. It doesn't change everything. It doesn't delete my watch lists and a few other things, but if you do want to set it back to default, click Setup, and then right here, Reset Workspace to Default. Now here you want to select the account you're in, and you have a choice of an IRA. And I'm not sure why they have the closed trades there, but margin is the one you'll probably be working in. So if you select that, it will show over here. Now how you get it to start at 100,000, you go to Monitor here, and under that, Activity and Positions, and then select Adjust Account. And you've got margin. Pick the amount of money you want to start with. And if you have trades going on that you want to get rid of, you can just click Reset All Balances and Accounts, and you'll be starting from scratch. Now, I think the first thing I'd like to show you that you probably want to get into is charting. How do you look at a chart of a stock? Well, you click Trade, and we're going to start in the Active Trader tab underneath Trade. And by default, they have set it up with 2 charts. I only want one. I like to work with one big chart. You have the option of up to 32. This is how you would select that if you wanted 32. But I don't want that many, and I think it's just for me it's hard to look at those tiny little charts. So I just pick one. So just go one, click one, left click there. Now what you're seeing here is the chart, plus this is the Active Trader window. You can turn that off over in this right hand tab. Just click on Active Trader. It has other options: time and sales, big button, which is just a trading window. You can have several charts of the same stock, I guess. Dashboard, another trading window, level 2 data, and live news. You can then click on the most recent news for whatever symbol you've put in. Oops, I clicked on the wrong one. Active Trader for whatever symbol you've put in. Let's look at IBM here. So here's the latest news on IBM and the chart. So but right now, I'm just going to deal with the chart and how to get it looking the way you'll learn to set it up the way you like it. This is the way I like it. So this settings tab is for chart settings. Just left click on that, and it will open up this window. Now we'll go through each of these tabs here. I like to overlap volume. If you don't overlap the volume, this is what you'll see. You'll have a separate window in the bottom for volume, which I don't like taking up the space for that. But in the case of equities, I do like to see the volume, so I click overlap, and that's good. Price axis, I don't change anything here. Time axis, I do change this. I want to see a little space on the right hand side. Like that, okay. Oops, I closed the window. Now, favorite time frames, you can do that here, and this is a good place to do it, but there's another place you can do it as well. I'm going to change to what I like. You can do anything you want. A 15-minute, I change that to 10. I just I just happen to like 10, and 30-minute I use. 1 hour I do use. For hourly, I'm going to add. It's only going back 20 days. I think I'll go back 180 days. I do like to look at hourly charts. 4 hour, 1 day. Now the daily, I like to go back 2 years, and then I also like to have a daily that goes back 4 years. So make sure you're on time, 4 years, and then day, and that will add a 4 year. The weekly I will edit to go back maximum available, so I can just take a big wide view look at a stock. Now, if you slide these around while you're here, I use this one a lot. 1 day daily 2 year and a daily 4 year. I'll put those up at the top because that's the way they will appear when I open up that window. Click apply. Appearance. The only thing I like to change here is I like to fill the green candles. So just click here and that will fill them up. Equities. I like to show extended hours trading, but I don't like to highlight it. So click that and apply. Now, I don't chart options too often. Futures, I don't show the volume. I do show extended hours trading, but I don't highlight them. And I don't like to show open interest. So that's just me. You do whatever you want to do. And I don't trade Forex, so I'm not going to deal with that, but you can look at that. So then click OK. Now, for studies, generally I have a few that I like, but there's hundreds in here, and you can just go through them, trying them out. Some will be put in a lower window. Some will be put right in the chart. I'm going to add the ones that I typically use. I like RSI, and I like MACD. So got those two. And the other ones that I use are Ichimoku, and I'm going to show you how to. I have changed some settings, and they did not. Changing back to default did not reset them. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And I also like to put in the 200-day simple moving average. So come down to S's, and you see simple moving average. Now that's a 9-day moving average. So anytime you want to adjust, make some changes to the default settings on your indicators, you come into this little chemistry flask right here, left click, and it opens up this window. And you can go in. Now for Ichimoku, you can see that, okay, if you want to back out a little bit to see the chart a little more clearly, you can, these two, one zooms in, one zooms out. So I'm going to zoom out a little just so we can see. Now I have changed the Ichimoku cloud to be gray because usually it's green and red, and it interferes with the candlesticks. So I come in here, click on the little settings for Ichimoku, and I also turn off a lot of the plot lines that Ichimoku will put in. So for each of these, I unclick show plot, and then the span A and span B, I click, and then I have changed to a grayish color, so it looks more neutral, and it doesn't interfere. I can still see it, but so that's all I do there. Now, any indicator that you want more information on, slide this bar down, and you can click more details. It's not coming out here. I don't know why. Oh, see, it opens up a window that's on your browser for ThinkorSwim, and it gives you some explanation. Well, this is it right here. Okay, this is my wife's computer, so I don't know everything there is to know about it, but it'll explain a very basic view, a one-page view on each of your indicators. And oh boy, I hope it's. Now the other thing there's also global settings. Oh, okay, so this is probably where I set those colors of span A and span B in the global section. I haven't done it in a while, but you'll be able to figure that out very quickly, I'm sure. Simple moving average, open the settings, and this is set to 9. I'm changing it to 200. I'm keeping RSI and MACD on their default settings. Now you hit apply and OK. There you go. So we're looking at IBM, and what I would like to do here is go to, we'll go to a daily chart. Now I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I get the whole view. If I want to go to the 4-year, I can just pull up the 4-year, get a little bit more information. Now this looks like I'm going to go back to the 2-year, and one other indicator that I like to use a lot is Fibonacci. So let's just say I've decided that this is wave 3 down here, wave 4 up to here to this point, and that wave 5 is in process. So we come up here and we've got wave 1 and 2. I'm going to start from here for wave 3. I right click on that point and add drawing, come down to this percentage sign. This is your Fibonacci retracement, and you can just drag it down to the lower line here. This is for a down move. A positive move, you would be doing the opposite from this, but maybe I'll demonstrate one of those too. But so we'll click here when that line is right at the low of wave 3, and now we see that wave 4 is still within. If it had been up to the 78.6 level, it would be nullified as a L8 wave move. So then so this is valid wave 5 starting down here. So I can put in the Fibonacci, right click, Fibonacci extension, add drawing, come down here. I click once at the very low point here, and then drag up to the, well, not dragging now, I just click again here at the upper point, and we have our Fibonacci extensions. So that could be a good trade right there, shorting IBM. Now let me show you how to do the opposite. If you're looking at a bullish move, and let's just pretend that this is our wave 3. I wouldn't call it a wave 3, but we would do the same thing here. Right click on the low point of wave 3, come down to the percentage, up to the top here, and then okay, this would be disqualified as a wave 2 because it comes all the way back down, but that's how you would do it. So now when you've got the chart set up the way you like it, one very handy thing that you have is a way to save everything without, so you don't have to keep repeating the process for every chart you create. You come up here to style, say save style, and then give it a style name like stock 1, let's say, okay? And then if you'd like to include all the indicators that you've already put on and change the settings on and everything, click here, include patterns and study set, and then save. Now anytime you have a chart, you can just come over here to style and say load style, and you go down stock 1, and it will automatically bring it back to the whichever way you saved it. Now the next thing I would like to show you is well, the drawings tab is something that you can just bring into the chart anytime you want. If you right click anywhere in the chart, come down to add drawing, and you can, for example, like I'll start up here. I'll put right click there, add drawing, and say I want a line. there I have a line, and let's say I think that's a important resistance area or something like that. And you can also put in a price level right next to that first line right here. And now you'll have a horizontal line that you can put in. Let's say I think that, that's going to be resistance for this moving up or whatever. So, and if you want to get rid of them, you just right click and click remove drawing, remove drawing. Okay, the next thing I would like to show you is how to set up your watch lists. You have this window over on the left that is quite useful, and it's got your account information. These are live news. You can have Trader TV going on. If you don't want to see these, you just click on that little arrow, and these are customizable on the right hand side. So watch lists, what you can do is you come in here and say you want to create a new one. So you click here, create watch list, and let's call it test 1, and add symbol. Put in IBM, add another symbol, put in McDonald's. Okay, now you're done. Just click save, and there's your watch list. And you have several, and you can just run through them by clicking these up and down arrows. And now, a very handy feature is you can link the watch lists to your chart, so that you can very quickly go through a watch list and see how things are progressing. And the way you do that is, see this little color here is an optional color thing. So let me pick purple, and on the chart I'm going to do the same. Now it will automatically, when I left click on the stock, it will automatically show that chart. One thing I would suggest changing in the watch list, because if you notice down the bottom here, it has already not entered, but it has put up a default order, and all I have to do is confirm and send. But I wasn't interested in trading this, so I don't really want this window to show up. I can minimize it like that with this little arrow here, but I would rather not have it appear there. That's not how I initiate trades, and I don't really like that. So come up here and click on this little it's this little tiny little setting bar. It's almost hard to see there, and click customize. Now I'm going to take out, the reason it did that automatic trading is because I have bid and ask showing here. I don't want those to show, so I'm going to click and remove, click and remove. And then all I'll have left is a symbol, the last price, and the net change for the day. And I like that, so I'm going to click OK. Now you see, that's all I have. And when I click now, it doesn't initiate a default trade. So that's good. And then anytime you want to add one to this, you can either open up that watch list, or it's much easier. I just come in here and enter in, anything I want, and then it will be in that watch list. And another thing that I would like to show you is how to set up for saving. You can either save your setup give it a name, say it's the workspace. You can save it, which is a good idea, but you can also come into application settings and click on startup, and workspace used on startup, have it set to last application state. So basically, and then click last used. So wherever you were when you shut down your computer, or you shut the program off, that's where it will start up again next time. And I like that. Sometimes I forget to save the workspace and that kind of thing. So that has worked very well for me. Okay, so let's take a look here. I'm trying to think. Oh, for trading, there's quite a few different ways you can trade. One way, let's say I've decided that I think this is a good short. So let me see, I've got my Fibonacci, and I say, okay, I've got wave 4, wave 5, and I want to go short on this. So I come over here, and you can just right click, put the put the cursor over the last candle there, and I say sell custom. This is a this will automatically put in um, some one cancel the other orders, and one for a stop and the other for your profit, hopefully. So I'm going to change this to a market order. You have a whole variety of orders. This is the actual sell order, and my limit orders I'm going to change to good till canceled. I'm going to have 3 orders input at the same time, confirm and send. And so I sold 1,000 shares of IBM. Now, so I'm here, but I'm going to set my stop right above this candlestick here. So I'm going to move this up a little bit, just like that, and there, it's moved. Now, for my profit, I'm not going to take profit there. Let's just say I've decided it's from my earlier checking that it's going to go down to 125. Let's just say. So you can just slide it down, and there you go. And you can move those around. You can also come in here, click monitor, adjust activity and positions, and here is your order. Here is what position you're in. So I'm in 1,000 shares of IBM, and I can right click over that anywhere in here, create closing order with a stop, with the OCO bracket, and so that's another way you can like close a position if you want to close your positions. The other thing is you've got this window here. So anyway, there's quite a few ways, and you can also trade using like the windows on the side here, and buy at the market quantity. You can put any quantity, and if you want to auto send, be very careful because this will initiate the trade immediately. And if you want to change these to other, you can click and customize, and you can put in any type of trading, any tabs that you want to have for your type of trading. Same thing with the active trader. I'm going to turn off the big buttons, but you can trade off of this window too, and you can do it right up here. And this again is also customizable. Gives you quite a few options, and if you go over here to settings, you can do quite a bit of customizing on that. So this is all stuff you can experiment with in paper trading, and so you don't make mistakes when you're really using money. I also like to use level 2 sometimes, just when if I'm trying to put in a limit order or deciding if I'm going to use a market order. You see here there's a 1 penny spread on IBM, so you could put in a market order very, very safely. And so let's see, is there anything else I should talk about here? That's pretty much it. Oh, did I show? Yeah, I did show you this. Well, these are the different time scales. Like this is a 1 minute. Now, you've got this lower sliding bar here, which will take you through all the times that you've selected. So this is the 1 minute going back. I forgot how many. 1 day. Okay, so this is you're taking a close look at 24 hours of time on a 1 minute time scale. And if you're day trading, you'd want to be using a lower scale like this. All right, before we get to futures, I would like to show you guys how to create alerts and how to use the options chain in a very basic manner. We're looking at a chart of McDonald's on a daily chart where we've got wave 4 down, and it looks like it's got wave 5 in process. So let's just say we want to get in, but we want to be careful. So we're going to, let's look at a smaller time scale. Let's look at the 1 minute chart. Okay. And so I actually already have an alert here, so I'm going to cancel that. Let's say we want to be alerted if it gets above the recent high, because maybe we'll get in. Who knows? So what you do, move your cursor and see. One thing I don't think I've mentioned, the cursor settings are down right here. Left click there. You can have none, one horizontal line, one vertical line, or a cross. I like the cross. That's how I'm getting these two lines. So to set the alert, move that line right to the top of the point that you want to be alerted at. Right click, come down to create alert, left click. Now make sure this is at or above, or you can, whatever you want. Sometimes you want to be alerted if it's below a certain price. And anyway, we're going to go with at or above here. Make sure that that's the price you want there. Click create, and here is the alert. And if you want to delete it, you just click on that little X and it's gone. Oh, also let me create it again here for you. If you want to move it around, you just put the cursor over it, left click, and you can slide it around. And let's replace. And I thought I would get an alert, but I guess because this is after hours trading, but let me get rid of that. Now let's take a look at the options chain. You're going to go make sure you're on trade and all products. And this is the options chain. Let's go to McDonald's. We'll do the same thing for McDonald's. Left click on that. Okay, so let's, using this example, let's say that we want to get in if with a buy a call. So let's say September looks good to us. So you can control how many strikes you see here. I want to see all of them. And the other thing is, if you don't see all of these options, all these column headings in your calls, and your puts are over here, you can come up here, click on that little spot, come down to customize, and here you can adjust what you have available to you on those columns. This is basically what I'm using: option, open interest, gamma, delta. But if you want to get rid of one, just click it, remove item, or the opposite. Let's put that back in, add item, and then click OK. Now if you want to buy or sell an option, we primarily buy them. Actually, we only buy them because selling options is very, very risky. But without getting too detailed here, let's say we want to buy a call on McDonald's. Looking down at the delta, they're fairly expensive. So how about if I just buy one with a delta of 70.78 and right click on the bid or the ask, buy, single. There's a whole list of options there, different types you can get. And this is where you have, like, my default setting here, which you can adjust up in your application settings, is set on 10, but you can set it any number that makes sense for you. Let's say 1, which is probably where I normally start. We make sure you've got your limit, or we don't usually trade market orders with options, so a limit. Make sure you know where you're trading between the bid and the ask, and you click confirm and send. And then you have another confirmation window here, just like with stocks. All right. I think that's It's a very basic look at the options chain. And now we will move on to futures. Okay, now this is what it's given me for the default on trade and the futures tab, futures trader tab, which I do not want this many showing, and I'm going to move this window, close that window by hitting here, clicking there. Now, I like to set it up the same way Dean does in Follow Me Trades, with 3 on the top and 3 on the bottom. So that's how I'm going to set this up. This window is going to be for oil futures. You want 1/, and this is the continuous contract we're going to look at first. And the same thing down here. And gold futures in the middle. /GC. Same thing here. Oops. And E-mini up here. Oops, I don't want that. Okay, so let's start by formatting for light sweet crude oil futures, and we're going to come to this upper right corner, left click, maximize sell. Now over here on this side, we close dashboard, hit chart, and turn off trade. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is back into this chart settings tab, and overlap volume. If you want to see this high and low bubbles on your charts, you can leave it on here or turn it off, whichever you want. Sometimes it's not necessary. Time axis, I like about 10 bars open to the right. Favorite time frames, we already have set that, so that carries over here. Appearance, I'm going to fill the bullish candles, and then for futures, I'm not going to show open interest, and I'm not going to show volume. I show extended hours trading, but I don't highlight it. Hit apply. Okay, now what you're seeing here, since this is the continuous contract, it merges all these separate monthly contracts together to get this one big chart. These are just some lines I drew that they left on there. So if you just want that one contract, you can read it off here and input that. So that's CLN8. And I can just add that in here, N8. And so that is the current contract. Now, I'm going to set these up, try to set it up the way Dean does in Follow Me Trades. He uses a 10-minute chart, and he puts in Ichimoku, just the cloud. Okay, and these are the standard default settings. Dean does have a proprietary settings that you can, if you take his class, he will give to you. He has a special class in Ichimoku. So this is what I do, and I'm trying to remember if he, oh yeah, he has a price oscillator on the bottom, so I'm going to add price oscillator. There we go, price oscillator. Okay, so this is essentially the way he sets up the upper row of futures and 10-minute chart, Now I'm going to save this, so this will save me time when I do the others. So I'm going to click Style, Save Style. I'm going to call that Futures, and that's it. And I'm going to click Include Patterns and Study Set. I'm going to I might already have one named Futures, so I'll put Futures 1. Save. Okay. Now, to go to the next block over, I can just click the right arrow. And this is the gold. I'm going to turn off dashboard, turn on chart, turn off trade. Now to get everything we just did to light sweet crude, we can do that very quickly. Click Style, Load Style, and Futures 1 is the name I just gave that. There we go. And I've got another line here. Take that line out of there. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit. There we go. Now I'm going to get to the next block, which will be E-mini. Same thing. Dashboard, turn off. Chart, turn off trade. Click Style, Load Style, Futures 1. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit. There we go. Now, here's something I haven't showed you yet. If you want to click and drag your chart around, you come down to this drawing set arrow, left click, and these are your drawing tools. Click on the little pointing hand, and now you can move the chart around. You can also, sometimes it won't move unless you first expand it, but in this case it's moving. So just to make it look the way you want it. Now I'm going to go back to the full view just to see what it looks like now. Restore cells. Good, so we've got the top done, but we want to get the bottom done now. So I'm come over here to this one, and what essentially is the difference is on the lower row, Dean uses range bars. So we're going to click here, maximize cells, turn off dashboard, turn off trade. Actually, I can load this. Well, let me just do it the slow way here. We go to 10-minute. I'm going to zoom out because that's zoomed way in, and we'll go up here to chart settings. Put 10 bars to the right. Expand. Appearance. We're going to add fill up on the green candles. Futures, we're going to not show open interest. We're going to show extended, turn off highlight, and we're not going to show volume. Click apply. And you can add the Ichimoku if you'd like. Now, to get the range bars, you come up here to the time frame setup, left click, customize, and add a time frame because there are no range bars in here by default. Click range, 1 day, and we're going to go. He uses 8 ticks on this, so backspace and put in 8, add, apply. Now, okay, that'll be good for that. I'm going to save this style. First, let me load it in. I haven't loaded it. There it is. Okay, that's an 8-tick range bar for CL, and I'm going to save that as a style. I'll say lower futures 1, and I'll include patterns and study set. Save. Now I go right arrow, take off dashboard, turn on chart, trade, and instead of going through that procedure again, once again I will just load that style in, lower futures 1. And we are set on 8-tick range bars. But see, this bar has slid over, so you've got to make sure that this bar is over to the right, or you won't be looking at the current data. Now let's go to the last one, which is E-mini, and turn off dashboard. Chart is on. Turn off trade. comes style, load style, lower futures 1. Now it's way too zoomed in, so zoom out. Now this is set to a 8-tick range bar, but Dean actually uses a 5-tick on the ES. So come here to customize and add a time frame range. Come here to 5 ticks, add, apply, and now you have to select it. Okay, now that's a 5-tick range bar, and that's it. Let's go back to restore cells, and we're done. We have got the futures formatted. The only difference here is that you could put in the current contract on each one of these, and I showed you how to find that. I'll do it one more time for gold. Let's maximize this. Maximize. You have to be on the daily chart to see that, though. So let's go to the daily, and we see that the current contract for gold is Q8, GCQ8. Q8. Now let's do the same thing for E-minis. Let's go to the daily, and it's M8. M8. Okay. And I'm not sure what I was doing here, but yeah, that's the name of, that's pretty much it for basic setups. You know, in the future maybe I'll show some other features. There's a lot of things you can do with the software. It's great software, and you know, scanning is a great tool, and I'm not going to get into that right here, but you can it's a little bit more in depth. That you can actually deal with their think script, which some of these don't work. That's one thing I should have mentioned. Some things are turned off in paper money, and for example, study filters are turned off. You have to be in a live money account. So that is something. You can filter based on fundamentals, though. So your volume and percent change and things like that. So it's pretty useful, but if you want to get involved in some good scanning, you have to be in a live trading account. But I'll save that for a future episode. So that is it for now. I want to thank you for getting through this with me, and if there are any questions, please leave them down below. And I would invite you to look at some of my guitar playing videos if you're interested in that. I have played guitar in the style of Jimi Hendrix for many years, and those are also on my channel. But if you have any questions on ThinkorSwim, you can put them down below, or if you are a member of the Follow Me Trades group, we have a Facebook page, and you can join that and ask any question you want there, and I hopefully will see it, and I'll get back to you on it. So good luck. Happy trading. Take care.